Imagine waking up one morning. You walk outside and see your electric meter has stopped spinning permanently. Not because someone shut off your power, not because you started living in the dark ages, but because you finally found a way to stop paying the power company completely. Imagine doing it not with expensive solar panels, not with giant windmills, but with something you can build in your own backyard, using parts that might be in your garage right now. Picture burying a simple DIY 12-cell earth battery in your yard, hooking up a wire, and watching your electric bills shrink month after month. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't science fiction. This is real-world backyard engineering with roots in history. It's an idea that's been hidden in plain sight for more than 100 years, just waiting for ordinary folks to rediscover it. Before we get deep into the dirt, literally and figuratively, go ahead and tap the subscribe button. Here at Boring Economic Update, we dig into the simple, the overlooked, and the sometimes world-changing ideas you won't hear anywhere else, especially when they can save you real money. That's the kind of news nobody wants you to notice. Let's pull back the curtain. What if you could dig a few holes, drop in some scrap metal, connect a few wires, and generate free electricity straight from the earth itself? You'd probably laugh, right? It sounds way too simple, but that's exactly what an earth battery is. The concept goes back to the 1840s. Early telegraph operators installed rods and plates in the ground to power their lines when traditional batteries failed. We aren't talking about lightning strikes or magical energy. We're talking about science, chemistry, and a little bit of backyard bravery. The original earth batteries made by inventors like Alexander Bain provided enough juice in certain soils to power simple devices. At the scale of a dozen cells, that juice starts to add up. Most people think earth batteries are just for science class or survival shows. Not true. This technology is about as basic and low-tech as you can get, and it could be the next tool in your fight to stop sending money to power companies every month. Here's the core trick. When you take two different metals, like copper and zinc, and bury them in damp soil a few feet apart, you get a small electrical current. It's basic chemistry, driven by the different ways each metal reacts to water and minerals in the earth. The electrons want to flow. The earth becomes a slow, steady battery. It might not sound like much at first, a faint current, a tiny voltage. But what happens when you connect not one, but 12 battery cells together? Suddenly, you're moving from the neat idea column to the real utility column. Let's go step by step. To make a cell, you take a piece of copper pipe, maybe from an old plumbing job or the hardware store. You get a zinc rod, like those used in water heaters or boat parts. The two rods go into the ground a foot or so apart. Damp soil works best. Attach a wire from copper to zinc, but don't let them touch underground. When you start connecting these pairs in series, copper to zinc, then zinc to copper of the next pair, and so on, the voltage begins to add up. 12 pairs can give you enough to light an LED strip, power a small radio, or charge devices through a low voltage circuit. It's not going to run your air conditioner right away, but it's real usable power for little things, and in some cases can be scaled up. People have built versions that last for years, with very little maintenance. The best part is, you're in complete control. No noisy generators, no moving parts, no combustibles, and no special permissions from your power company. Maintenance? Check on your wires occasionally and keep the soil from drying out totally. That's it. It's a real tinkerer's dream, but simple enough for anyone who can swing a shovel, twist some wire, and turn a screwdriver. Maybe you're wondering if this is a magic bullet. Let's be clear. You can't install a 12-cell earth battery today and run an entire suburban house off it. At least, not without major tweaks, electronic trickery, and maybe a bit of luck. But if you're looking for a way to start cutting your bill, run lights, keep your communications alive in a blackout, or tinker with true energy independence, there's nothing stopping you. Every cell, every watt, every little bit you produce is money the utility company doesn't get from you. And when you start to see that meter move closer to zero, or even backwards on a sunny day with a solar panel boost, it's all the more satisfying. Why doesn't everyone already have one buried outside? Honestly, most people simply don't know these things work, or they think the effort isn't worth the reward. Big power companies have no incentive to advertise ideas like this. Their business model depends on you being connected to their wires. Even solar and wind installers want to sell expensive gear. Nobody makes money if you cut your bill with a trick that costs less than a trip to the hardware store. But this idea still works, especially as the price of everything seems to climb each year. Utility rates keep ticking up, dollar by dollar, month by month. The cost of a basic setup for an earth battery hasn't changed much in decades. The parts aren't fancy. The electricity is already hiding in your soil, waiting for you to tap it. All you're doing is letting the metals and the earth do what chemistry says they want to do anyway, move electrons until the energy balances out. Let's think practically. All told, if you salvage scrap pipes and rods, scrounge old wire, and have a decent patch of yard with moist mineral soil, you could throw together a working earth battery with about an afternoon's work. No ladder, no new meters, no complicated controls. And once it's set, it just sits there, making power every hour of the day, year after year. If you're smart about your wiring and storage, you can use it as a backup or as a supplement for steady draw items like lights, routers, or charging stations. Here's the motivational part. The first time you see the LED flick on, powered only by something you built and the ground you walk on every day, you might realize there's more energy hiding under your feet than you gave it credit for. Maybe you'll keep adding cells, experimenting with different soils or metals, fine-tuning your own personal power plant. Or maybe you'll just smile every time that monthly bill comes in and costs you less. The big question on your mind is probably about safety, legality, practicality, and real expectations. We'll get into all of it. No hype, no magic beans. It works because of chemistry. It works because patient, careful people have been building them since the 1840s. And it still works because the laws of physics haven't changed. If you stick with this video, you're going to find out how to actually build one, how to size it, where to put it, and what to expect. No more rumors. No more maybe someday. Just a blueprint for powering parts of your home with what the earth gives you every single day. And the best part? There's almost no risk. Worst case, you end up with a fun science project, a little backup source of light, and more money in your pocket next month. Best case, you start a journey that changes how you think about power forever. Ready to dig into the details? Let's get our hands dirty and see just how real a DIY 12-cell earth battery can be for your own future. Let us get right into the real mechanics of building this 12-cell earth battery and understanding exactly what it takes to make it work. You cannot just throw metal into the ground and expect your television to turn on. There is a specific way to do this, and it starts with understanding the very dirt beneath your feet. Soil is not just dirt. It is a complex mixture of minerals, water, and organic matter. When you introduce two different metals into that mixture, the moisture and minerals act as an electrolyte. This is the same basic principle that powers the battery in your car or the flashlight in your junk drawer. The Earth is essentially a massive, low-power electrolyte bath, just waiting to be tapped. To build your first cell, you need a piece of copper and a piece of zinc or galvanized steel. Copper pipes from the plumbing aisle work perfectly for the positive side. For the negative side, galvanized steel stakes or zinc anodes from a marine supply store are ideal. You want these metals to be long enough to reach deep into the soil where the moisture stays consistent. Usually, a length of 2 to 3 feet is perfect. You drive the copper rod and the zinc rod into the ground about a foot apart. Do not let them touch each other under the dirt. That would create a short circuit and your power generation stops immediately. Once your first pair of rods is in the ground, you have built one single cell of an earth battery. If you hook a multimeter up to the exposed tops of those rods, you will see a reading. It might be somewhere around 0.5 volt to 1 volt, depending on the moisture and mineral content of your specific soil. It is a tiny amount of power. It will not run a refrigerator. It will not even run a single standard light bulb. But it is real, measurable electricity, and it is coming from your yard for free. This is where the magic of scaling comes in. You have one cell making less than 1 volt. To get usable power, you need to link them together. You need to build a battery bank in the dirt. This means building 12 separate cells, just like the first one, and wiring them together in a series. You connect the copper rod of your first cell to the zinc rod of your second cell. Then you connect the copper rod of the second cell to the zinc rod of the third cell. You keep doing this, daisy chaining them together until all 12 pairs are connected. When you wire batteries in series, their voltage adds up. So if each of your 12 cells produces roughly 3/4 of a volt, your total system voltage jumps to around 9 volts. 9 volts is getting into useful territory. It is the same voltage as those chunky rectangular batteries used in smoke detectors and old transistor radios. But an earth battery at 9 volts is different from a store-bought 9-volt battery in one very critical way. The earth battery has a much lower current. This is the point where most people get frustrated and give up, but it is also the point where smart tinkerers learn to adapt and overcome. Current, measured in amps, is the actual flow of electricity. Voltage is the pressure pushing it. Your earth battery has decent pressure, but the flow is very slow. It is like a trickling garden hose. To make this slow trickle useful for everyday household savings, you have to harvest it over time. You cannot just plug a device directly into the earth battery and expect it to run flawlessly. The device will ask for more current than the earth battery can provide all at once, and it will shut down. The solution is simple and incredibly cheap. You add a storage layer to your system. You connect the output of your 12-cell earth battery to a rechargeable battery bank. You can use a simple 12-volt lead-acid battery, like the kind used in cars or backup sump pumps, or you can use a series of 18650 lithium-ion cells, if you're comfortable with basic electronics. The earth battery slowly and steadily trickles power into these storage batteries 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It never stops. It does not care if the sun goes down. It does not care if the wind stops blowing. While you are asleep at night, your earth battery is working. While you are at work during the day, your earth battery is working. It is constantly feeding that storage bank. Then, when you need to run a string of LED lights in your living room, or charge your laptop, or power your internet router, you pull that power from the storage bank, not directly from the Earth battery. The storage bank delivers the quick burst of current your devices need, and the Earth battery quietly refills the tank when you're done. Let us talk about the economics of this setup. The average American household spends well over $1,000 a year on electricity. The cost to build a basic 12-cell Earth battery with a small storage bank is surprisingly low. If you buy everything brand new from a hardware store, you might spend around $50 to $100. If you salvage scrap copper and zinc, your costs drop to almost nothing. Even at the high end, you're looking at an investment that pays for itself in a matter of months, if it offsets even a small portion of your daily power usage. Think about the devices in your home that run around the clock. Your internet router uses very little power, but it runs constantly. Your phone chargers draw a few watts here and there. Your home security system, your smart doorbell, your landscape lighting. These are the vampire loads that slowly drain your wallet every single day. If you route just these small constant loads over to your Earth battery system, you are slicing a real chunk off your monthly bill. You are not paying the utility company for that power anymore. You are generating it yourself for free from the ground. Now, you might be wondering about the longevity of this system. If the metals are buried in the damp earth, will they not just rust away? The answer is yes, eventually, but the process is incredibly slow. The galvanic process that creates the electricity also causes the zinc, or steel anode, to slowly corrode over time. This is why it is called a sacrificial anode. It sacrifices itself to produce the electrons. Depending on the thickness of your rods and the acidity of your soil, a set of anodes can last anywhere from 3 to 10 years. When they finally degrade, you simply pull them out of the ground and hammer in new ones. The copper rods, on the other hand, last much longer. Copper corrodes at a much slower rate. You might never have to replace the copper in your lifetime. The wiring and the storage batteries will also need occasional maintenance. Deep cycle batteries typically need to be replaced every 3 to 5 years. But again, the cost of replacing a small 12-volt battery every few years is nothing compared to the thousands of dollars you would have handed over to the power company in that same time frame. There is another hidden economic benefit to this system that nobody talks about. It is completely independent of the grid. When the power goes out during a winter storm or a summer heat wave causes rolling blackouts, your Earth battery does not care. It just keeps humming along in the dirt. If you have wired a few critical circuits in your house to run off your storage bank, you will have lights, internet, and charged phones while your neighbors are sitting in the dark. That kind of peace of mind has a real value that goes beyond dollars and cents. As you get more comfortable with your 12-cell setup, you might start thinking about expansion. There is no law that says you have to stop at 12 cells. If you have the yard space, you can build a second bank of 12 cells and wire it in parallel to your first bank. This doubles your current output, meaning your storage batteries recharge twice as fast. You can keep scaling this up until you are offsetting larger and larger portions of your energy consumption. The fundamental principle remains the same no matter how large you go. It is just copper and zinc in the dirt, wired together with patience and a little bit of electrical know-how. The beauty of the Earth battery is its simplicity. It does not require a degree in engineering to understand. It does not require a massive financial investment to start. It just requires a willingness to try something different and a realization that the ground we walk on is more than just a foundation for our homes. It is a source of energy that has been ignored for far too long. Now let's bring it all together, because this journey into Earth batteries is about more than just wires, rods, and a patch of yard. It's about how a basic, almost forgotten bit of science can challenge the way we all think about electricity, about independence, and about our monthly fight with the power bill. Step back for a moment and picture what you've learned. You've seen how the humble mix of copper, zinc, and mineral soil forms the foundation of a working battery, something powerful enough, when multiplied, to light your evenings, charge your essentials, or keep you online when everyone else is left in the dark. It's a technology older than light bulbs themselves, reborn for a time when regular people need more say in how they power their lives. This isn't wizardry, and it isn't hype. It's simple chemistry and careful arrangement, and you're not just an onlooker. You are now the builder, the tinkerer, the problem solver. Suppose you took the plunge and set up your own DIY 12-cell Earth battery. At first, maybe you watched the slow blinking of a single LED, impressed but skeptical. Maybe you had doubts. Would it really last? Was the effort worth it? Then you started routing a few cables, charging an old phone, hooking up a string of garden lights, and realizing, wait a second, this does more than just save a buck. This is a constant, steady trickle of independence. Month after month, your system quietly generated power, with no spinning blades, no humming transformers, and no meters for anyone to read. Every time you check your main electric bill and see the numbers shrink, you know exactly where some of those savings are coming from. The dirt right outside your back door. Maybe you even decided to expand. You dug a second row, then a third, stacking your banks in parallel to boost the current. By now you're charging laptops, powering the family Wi-Fi, or running low-voltage outdoor lighting, all with energy nobody else has to sell you. As the years go by, you notice another thing. The system just works. Maybe you swap out a rod every few years, replace a bit of wire, upgrade a battery. The process never gets more complicated, and the maintenance never gets expensive. You smile each time a storm knocks out power for the neighborhood, but your router and desk lamp don't even flicker. You realize this isn't just about saving money, it's about control, about resiliency, and about staying prepared no matter what happens to the grid. As you keep improving your system, you get curious. What if your neighborhood tried this? What if a community garden powered its lighting, tools, or workshops from a set of earth batteries strung just beneath the surface? Maybe your local club or emergency shelter could build a backup system for when everything else goes down. The possibilities keep expanding. Maybe your kids catch on too, helping you check soil moisture, swapping rods, or watching their devices charge up from what looks like just another corner of the yard. You're not only saving money, you're sparking curiosity and giving the next generation that aha moment of real discovery. Science, economy, and self-reliance, all right there in the soil. Of course, we have to be honest. Not every yard is perfect for an earth battery. If your soil is extra dry, rocky, or sandy, you might need to dig deeper, add some compost, or even experiment with salt or charcoal to get the most out of every cell. Some folks will build monster setups with hundreds of cells and elaborate converters, while others are happy running a few garden lights and an emergency charger. No matter your outcome, you now understand something most of the world has forgotten. Electricity doesn't only come from sky-high wires and corporate monopolies. Sometimes it's patiently waiting just below your feet. Think of all the places where earth batteries make sense: remote cabins, emergency shelters, off-grid homesteads, even tiny houses looking for one more way to stretch their budget and simplify their life. This isn't a one-size-fits-all miracle, but it is a practical way to supplement your power and bring security home. And unlike so many things you read about online, this isn't a passing fad or a one weird trick. It's a time-tested, physically proven way to draw energy from the planet without the noise, bills, or dependency we've come to accept as normal. The supplies are simple, the science is solid, and the impact is lasting. For every person who's built one and stuck with it, there's a moment when they stop seeing it as a project and start seeing it as part of their home. What does this leave you with? It leaves you with a door wide open for experimentation, savings, and a little bit of fun along the way. You do not have to be an electrician, a chemist, or an engineer. You just have to be someone ready to try, willing to dig a little, and patient enough to appreciate what slow, steady power can really do. The next time you see your electric bill, think of it not just as a mandatory fee, but as an invitation to see how low you can push it, how much you can take back from the system and give back to yourself. When friends or neighbors come by and see your strange little patch of rods and wires, you'll know something they don't. You'll know the history, the physics, and the surprising economic logic behind every free watt you pull from the ground. And as energy prices rise, as blackouts get more frequent, or as more people start to look for ways to sidestep the next rate hike, you'll already be ahead. You won't just be another customer, you'll be a producer. Think about the day you open that electric bill and for the first time, it's nearly zero. Not from cutting corners, not from going without, but from adding a little quiet technology to your life. You'll know exactly where your savings came from, and you'll never forget what real economic freedom feels like. That's not just boring economics, that's everyday revolution. So let's make this practical. Why not try it? Why not challenge yourself to see what you can actually produce? Maybe it starts as an experiment, as a fun family weekend, or as a just-in-case backup. But don't be surprised if it turns into something bigger. Sometimes all it takes is the first flicker of a light bulb, the first fully charged battery, or the first storm where you stay connected while everyone else scrambles, to realize you've built something worth keeping. Now it's your turn. If you've ever thought about energy independence, if you've ever gotten frustrated at the size of your electric bill, or if you just like the idea of drawing real power from under your own feet, I want to hear from you. Listen, I'm not just asking. I'm genuinely interested. Have you tried an earth battery? Would you consider building one? Or did you learn something new in this video that changed the way you look at energy? Tell me about your experience or your plans in the comments down below. Let's get a conversation started. Your tips, your questions, your best results. If you think this is something a friend or a family member should see, go ahead and share it. Let's spread the word, one backyard and one bill at a time. Remember, economic freedom doesn't have to start with Wall Street or Washington. Sometimes it starts with a spade, a chunk of copper, a length of zinc, and a single bold idea beneath your lawn. Thanks for watching Boring Economic Update, where the ideas might sound boring, but the results could change your whole future.